Hi beautiful souls. I thought I'd share a few words on language. I have shared words on language before, and I had this beautiful conversation yesterday with darling Dave, and we were talking about certain words which do not serve the human consciousness any longer and that they need to be left behind. Now, I know that so many of you will already be very up to speed with certain groups of words which we certainly don't want to be using because they can create physical harm in the human system. So think about things like pain in the arse, blow my mind, what else? Got to get it off my chest. Those sorts of things can actually not be so helpful to say those things. So, and I feel that that's something that most people probably really know, but it's always good to be reminded. We all need reminders. And, as I share this, I also remind myself at the same time. And but what I want to be a bit more specific about are actual words that we use within the language, our language. I say, well, in this specifics, I'm talking about the English language because obviously this is the language that I use. But I think that no matter what language you speak in, you have to be aware of certain words which are about divide, separate, judgment, polarity, and then you've got other words which are very much about inclusion, unification, unity, love, higher love, peace. So we want to be creating an environment whereby there is more love, more unity, and more unification, more unifying of all parts of ourselves, all parts of one another, because we are all one big family here. And also about the planet in general, like seeing everything as having its own life force, because goodness, everything has. You think that you're so clever that you came to Earth at this time, but what about all of the plants and the animals? They also chose to come here at this time, and I know for sure that lots of these plants, lots of these animals are actually also galactic travelers. I know that from my own truth, from all the galactic travels that I've done, and that's amazing. That's just so amazing, and that's so humbling that they should want to do this with us, that they want to accompany us. These are our friends. They're not something that you can just chop up and stick on a fire, or you can just go ahead and just use without actually asking for permission and asking for whether that it would be okay. I mean, you have to consult things. You have to say, listen, dear tree, I really, really could use one of your branches. I need to make a spoon. I mean, that's quite basic, but if you do that, then at least the tree has an opportunity to pull its energy. I mean, it has its roots below, so it can still actually look after itself and look after its other friends within its vicinity. So what I want to share is to be really, really super aware of the language that you use. Is the language that you're using a language that unifies? Is it a language that's about love? Or do you have a lot of words in your language which are about separation and divide and judgments and polarities and hates? Because if you've still got all of that going on, that's what's going to be going on inside you. There's lots of things that go on in this world that I certainly am not in agreement with. But if I'm going to be spending all my day hating, judging, being bitter about, then that's what's just going to be keep on coming up in my experience. Instead, you have to have a plan. You have to have a vision of what you want to create instead. And the words you use are really, really important in part of that, because the words can be very onomatopoeic. They can really, really help you to create that vision, because so many of them are so feeling. They're so feeling. Certain words, are so feeling. there was a word my mother used to use, and I used to not be very fond of it, because I used to think it was just so hard, and it was the word ghastly. And that really is one of those words that is onomatopoeic. It really is, it really feels what it is. But you say that word enough times to yourself, even if you are describing something else, you're going to really feel that within your body, and your body is going to react to that. And it may not, probably won't, react in the best way. So you have to really consider the words you use. Some words are really archaic, and they're very distorted. They're not designed for the divine human to be saying. They're not designed for the whole consciousness of this planet, as we're rising in more love together, to be using. That we, it's not just the outdated structures that are crumbling, but languages are also needing a big upheaval. So I invite you to consider the words that you use, and I invite you to consider the songs that you sing, and I invite you to consider the prayers that you pray, and I invite you to consider your mantras, your invocations, your decrees, your affirmations, and everything else that you use, and just see if there's anything that needs upheaval, updating, and adjustments for the highest good for yourself and for all. And that's not just for all on earth, but through all universes and multiverses. We are one love. Oneness is what we are about. We're unifying. So let's use words that unify and unite us in love. Peace and love and gratitude for watching this video. Thanks.